Masaka is waking. It's the primary thing we're going to be watching today. Lower Decks and Thine Own Self are both really good, but I'm here for Brent Spiner's 7 different performances in one episode.
Oh yeah, it's a cracker.
It's like last week, yeah, we had some good stuff, but also Sub Rosa, and Sub Rosa's amazing. It's just so good. Anyway, yeah, today's episodes are Lower Decks. The episode, not the series. We can't talk about Lower Decks while we're watching Lower Decks. We can only talk about Lower Decks at the time. Then Thine Own Self. Decks. Yeah, and then Masks. That should be good. Some good lineup today. It's unfortunate it'll take us so long to get to Masks.
And
I'd like that to be the first.
And hello from Las Vegas. I'm currently vacationing right now in Las Vegas. I've been there since Tuesday. I will be coming back on Tuesday. It's a Tuesday and Tuesday thing. I am at a Star Trek convention, and I am sitting right now in the condo, in my condo, company cool condo.
Yes.
At this time, so
very fancy condo.
Yeah.
I want my own condo too. What do you mean?
Well, just go get a condo.
Just buy one, Don.
Yeah.
I kind of want. I think
just that easy.
I'm back up
in
Cleveland, where I am.
All you have to do is lie to the bank about your income, and you can get a loan, and you can get a condo. Easy.
Okay.
Right.
3 easy steps. Financiers hate him.
Yes, financiers do hate fraud. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Hello, people. I've returned.
Wow.
Oh, we got 3 minutes. Sweet.
Yes. 3 minutes until Lower Decks, the episode, not the series. So we actually cannot talk about Lower Decks Season 2 because it's still premiering, and no spoilers for new shows. We can talk about Season 1, but not Season 2.
For a second there, I actually thought we were going to be watching Lower Decks.
We are watching Lower Decks. What do you mean?
We are?
Do you mean DS9's Lower Decks?
That's a good episode.
Isn't Lower Decks and DS9 just ore processing?
So we're watching an episode about ore processing? Because look at the title.
Civil Defense. Oh, DS9. Oh, that's what you meant, Mr. Signal.
Oh.
That's what you meant, Mr. Signal. Okay. No, TNG
What?
Lower Decks.
Yeah, TNG and Lower Decks. Now DS9.
No, I'm not
title?
watching DS9 Lower Decks.
Voyager Lower
Yeah.
Decks.
Not Voyager Lower Decks. TNG Lower Decks. TNG Lower Decks.
They should have had a Lower Decks episode of every series. Well, they kind of had one of Voyager, right? They had that guy who was like a genius, but he just worked at like this
I couldn't have.
maintenance station.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried
Good
to
Shepherd,
solve
that's
Wang's second postulate and failed again.
Yeah, he just spent like his whole time trying to solve math problems while he
And then we
did
also
some
had the
menial
one
job.
of the Maquis who still needed to adapt to Starfleet. That was kind of Lower
But it
Decks.
wasn't Maquis that needed to adapt. It was Tuvok who was being too rigid.
Yes. Well, they needed to learn to
Like-
work together.
A fantastic end to Season 1.
I really like that
The-
episode. That's one of my
Tuvok-
favorite early episodes.
Tuvok learned to respect them, and they learned to respect him when he risked his life to save one of them.
Yes. In the end, the real chain of command was the friends we made along the way.
Ugh.
Where is Lower Decks? I'm on my phone. So.
Lower Decks is generally considered to be on the bottom half of the ship.
No, I mean with season. I'm trying to look it up.
Season 7,
Yeah,
episode
seven.
15. Season 7, episode
7, okay.
15 of TNG. 30 seconds
That's
to
right,
start. Everyone be queued up.
That's what I want. That's
Less
what
than
I
30
want.
seconds. 20 seconds.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it's going so fast.
It's happening. It's going at a rate of 1 second per
There
second.
it is. Okay.
I don't know. It seems like faster than 1 second per second. I think your seconds are slightly shorter than my seconds.
This is
Everybody
not the
get
time
ready to
talk
press
about
play in
time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
We
Fine.
don't have the time.
Who's Carstairs? Cars don't have
Would
stairs.
time
Let me
would
pull the
time
screen.
pass more slowly when you're near a object with more mass?
Well, from what perspective? If you're near something with a very large mass, time moves slowly for you, which means when you come out later, the universe is older than it would be otherwise.
What?
If you're near an object
You
of very
perceive
high
time
mass,
moving normally, but the universe is moving on without you.
No.
if you're near an object with very large mass, from your perspective, the rest of the universe is moving fast. Ah, Ensign Vorik.
Ensign Vorik.
That's either Vorik or Torik. They're the same actor.
Well, yeah, Torque. I
Torik.
just say
Okay.
Vorik because he was also one. The actor also played in Voyager.
Well,
Yeah,
given
and-
how much they slowed down the promotion rates of longer-lived species, how long has he been an ensign?
20 years.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, they don't have their own room. That's actually a detail they carried over from this episode. Wow.
Hey,
Which doesn't make any sense because there's like 1,000+ empty rooms on the Enterprise. Just give them all their own room.
No,
If
I
they
mean,
have
we
some
could.
emergency, they can double up.
It's not about whether we have the physical space. It's about keeping them in their mental place.
about sending a message.
Well, if they had them all in their own room, then they
Doesn't
wouldn't want to
sound
get
like
promoted.
an enlightened Federation idea.
The Federation's
Ryan.
not
That-
enlightened. Have you seen Star Trek? Federation sucks.
Look, at least they pretend to be enlightened.
They are the galaxy's premier collectors of things from other species, though.
They are.
Like United
They're-
Kingdom.
They love their relics. Oh, they're Ensign Sito from the episode The First Duty, where she was part of the team that got someone killed in a flight plan, and then they tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
Sito,
Yeah.
Gene, Wesley, and Tom Paris.
But not
Definitely not
Tom
Tom
Paris.
It was
That's
totally
something
Tom
that-
Paris.
Nick Locarno.
No way, Tom Paris.
Same actor,
No.
same backstory.
Yeah.
It's Tom
The
Paris.
head canon explanation is that
He has a
he
different
changed his
haircut, though, so
name
he's
to
different.
avoid
Tom
nepotism at the academy, so he
Yeah, 'cause
wasn't
Admiral Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Admiral Paris' son. Yeah.
Huh. That's actually kind of a neat fix.
Though I don't know why he would name
Oh.
himself Nick instead of Tom. I would assume it would just be Tom Locarno.
Nick
Oh, whatever.
Paris.
Yeah.
I'll
I
accept
just
it.
wanted. I mean, if you're gonna change your name, change your name. You know,
He just
like
likes
you
the name
wouldn't
Nick.
change your name to Ryan again,
I
would
saw
you?
him- I saw
I
in the
certainly wouldn't
documentary-
change my name to Brian with a B, because that's the worst name.
I saw in the
So-
documentary that
Everybody named Brian is a terrible person. If you're named
You're
Brian
not.
and you're watching the stream, get out, I don't want you here.
Whoa.
right.
Wow,
The
that's
worst
some
name.
strong words there.
How dare you? My name is Brian Deutschland. You
I
I saw in
monster.
the docu-
I know what
Oh,
your
that-
name is, Brian.
I saw in a documentary on TNG about that episode.
About Brian's?
They would have no the actor. They would have named him Tom, but
Yeah.
Hey, they would have named him Tom, but they named him something else. Hold on. Hey,
This is some dramatic music.
okay.
What's happening? Oh, it's a simulation. No, it's
Yeah.
not a sim. Surely this is a sim.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
What target was destroyed?
What?
7% lower. Gamma Shift's the worst.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
All right.
Gamma Shift is just full of tryhards. Nobody likes Gamma Shift.
With Connor, the chip sucker.
Okay. All right.
One of the times at my first convention that it's been a while.
Okay. Yeah, I think I.
So, yeah, why aren't they doing this all on the holodeck? They could simulate explosions and stuff. They could have consoles explode.
Yeah, it's so probably.
Be a great
Rocks
time.
You
fall.
have rocks
Yeah.
falling out everywhere.
And let me just give you a crazy idea. They could use styrofoam rocks.
All right.
Yeah.
Styrofoam.
No.
No, that's
On a
just going to
spaceship.
breed a culture of weakness. You have to throw real rocks at them.
Maybe blue barrels, if it's a Klingon crew.
Oh, that's too dangerous. You don't want to kill your
You
crew. Just
want the
maim
crew
them.
to survive at least.
Yeah, into work. I just met this year. I never actually met him before. I just met him. I just met him this year. He's a lot older now. If you didn't know, he's a lot older.
I believe
And-
Delta Shift is the shift that everyone on the show Lower Decks hates. Is that right? Nobody likes Delta Shift?
We can't talk about that.
It's in season 1. We can talk about it.
Hey, you made the rules.
Actually,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
the
give
rules
it
are
that
we can
ship.
talk about season 1 because it's been out for a while. We can't talk about season 2.
Did they keep the ship
isn't
on a
out
4-ship rotation after Jellicoe? Because
Well,
Gamma
they
ship
only-
would be the 4th ship.
Gamma is the 3rd. Well, in the alphabet, Gamma is 3rd.
But
Oh,
yeah,
Mr. Mr. Socks, we have some
I was
echo.
mistaken.
Hello, long time no see.
Yes,
No.
you're back.
Hello.
Ooh. Warp field integrity by 7%. Yeah, they have a delta shift on the Cerritos. Why don't they have a delta shift here? Or do they?
I
Yeah,
believe
I don't
it's
know
up
if they
to
have
the
a delta
captain's
shift or not.
discretion.
Oh, it's baby's first pad again. Hey!
Just because things painted red doesn't mean it's for babies. There's nothing wrong with red things. Not everything has to be gunmetal gray.
I love the Mattel line of the high technology.
The reason it's red is because it has a button to eject the core.
That makes sense.
Okay, yes,
Just,
there's
hey,
a delta
like,
shift
don't
in chain of command.
Careful
but
when you
that's-
pick this up, eh?
Can I get an approximate timestamp? Approximate is good enough.
Look on Discord. I have a little live stream going of the timestamp with the appropriate amount of delay.
Yeah,
But no, that
yeah,
that
Very
timestamp
nice,
should be
very
perfectly
enough.
accurate.
Very nice.
That's nice though.
Don't go off the one on
Convenient.
YouTube. Go off the one on Discord, if you're in Discord.
I'm actually synced for once. Yay!
Yeah.
When Mega accessible, which is a good idea.
I've always been a fan of Ogawa,
She's pretty
as far
cool.
as
Yeah, I
minor
like her
characters
countdown.
go.
Yeah, I like the countdown.
She
Yeah.
even makes a doctor in an alternate universe. So that's nice.
Did I
Oh,
miss
I
that
just realized
episode, or
that
is it
thing on
still
her desk.
upcoming?
Yeah, what was that? Were those fish? Was that a marble game? What is that?
It's like little gel blobs falling down the tubes. You turn it over and it does it again.
So she had just flipped over before Ogawa walked in.
Yeah. She's playing with her gel thing.
Wait, in this episode, doesn't Alyssa's boyfriend actually cheat on her and they just get over it at the end? They just ignore that?
No, he proposes.
I wonder if there are any desk crystals in this episode, having said
Yeah,
that.
spoilers. Yeah.
I remember they're happy with each other at the end, but I also remember he does something really sketchy that doesn't end up getting justified.
Yeah, he's being twitchy because he's going to propose.
Oh, I
Didn't she
remember
call
what
him
it
a
is. He said that he was too busy, he had work, and then he was hanging out with someone in 10 forward.
Yes.
You could talk to him, Melissa.
That is exactly what that means, Alyssa.
100%.
Just talk to him.
No, you have to talk to everyone else about them instead.
Like, hey Andrew, what's going on? I've noticed you've been a bit distant lately. You okay? What's
Called
happening?
an
Nope.
idiot plot. Come on.
Now, if I learned one thing from Janeway, you take those from Voyager, you take those emissions, you pull them in, and just keep them tight to your soul.
Hang on, why did you have to specify from Voyager? Is there another
Oh, it's-
Janeway?
Well, no, because I think B'Elanna does the
55.
same thing.
From Prodigy.
So I corrected myself over to just Voyager as a whole.
She pronounced Gauss correctly. Normally people say Gauss. It's not Gauss, it's Gauss. Good job, Cito.
Boss.
Gauss.
Gauss.
There's also Janeway from Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
And for like 4 seconds. What does she have to do with anything?
Jeez, I stuttered one time, and all of a sudden it's like, well, there's this one.
Did we not have the
there's this one.
conversation about like trying to pronounce things natively is kind of pointless, but now you're saying Gauss?
Yeah?
Backing you up.
Bruh.
Does he want to be treated like... He does sleep in his uniform, actually. We established this.
Does he?
Well, sometimes. Sometimes he has those weird,
Some-
deep V-neck pajamas. Sometimes he's in his uniform.
I just remember the big shiny blue thing that he wears.
Remember when he had to infiltrate the subspace domain of the aliens that were abducting the
Yeah.
crew?
Yeah.
He was in uniform for that, I think, right?
Do people bond over where their grandfathers were born?
Oof.
Is that
No, I have
him?
trouble with it.
Well,
Oh, good.
we're about to see.
Oh, I'm gonna go crawl inside myself.
Wait, is that
for how
Tracy?
awkward this
I
is.
think
Yeah.
Tracy's behind him.
Uh, uh,
Yeah. Oh.
What's wrong with that one? Well, that one's
Red.
clearly red Kool-Aid, and he wants green Kool-Aid. Maybe a blue Kool-Aid. Is that the same thing they have in the medical containers?
I was gonna say, Gwen Raspberry. You know, they also have Gwen Raspberry. Maybe even be Gwen Raspberry. You know.
Yep, they both get a lot of snow. That's
I hate
bonding.
this scene so much.
He doesn't even
Shaking
take
his head.
He didn't take either drink with him. What are you doing, Lavelle? What are you doing?
and the worst part for that guy is that I'm sure Riker will forget that conversation like the next day.
Immediately.
He doesn't.
This
He
is
talks
like-
to Troy about it specifically. That annoyed
Yeah.
him.
Riker could be a grandfather and not
And-
know it.
He goes up to Troy. It's like, all right, time for cool evaluations. Who's Lavelle?
I don't know.
Lavel? Who's that?
Who's the bell?
Lavel? Laville?
Mr. Lavel.
I don't know who they are, but I bet they can't say Gauss, right?
You can't say Gauss, you're not getting promotion.
I'm not talking about you have to pronounce it like the German pronunciation. It's just that Gauss is how it's pronounced in English.
Is it?
No, it really is.
Anybody else pronounce that
I'm
way,
not saying
or-
you have to say München.
Gauss.
Jawohl.
Gauss. Turret.
Is anyone pronounced that way? Oh no.
It's like if someone said croissant. It's like, yeah, you don't
number
have to
one-
pronounce it like the French, but you have to at least say croissant. Come on. You can't
The
say
number
croissant.
one thing I miss about having a CRT is having the Gauss button.
Oh yeah.
It would go brong.
How rude. Is Alyssa not competent enough for you? She's standing really far in the hallway. I feel like she should be closer to the wall. She's in people's way.
I like the double take Picard does on her. Like, is
Don't
that
I
the one
know-
who killed a friend?
Okay, alpha shift, gamma shift. Do we ever hear about Beta Shift? Who's on Beta Shift? It's not personal, Lavelle. It's just actually not the best time. Not everything's about you.
I'm now convinced that Beta Shift is just emergency backup rather than a regular shift.
Beta Shift is a beta myth.
No, I was thinking when I was watching.
Okay, I was able to find one example of Beta Shift. They say Beta Shift one time, and that's in the Die Hard episode, Over the Comm. Some random background crewman mentions Beta Shift.
I was thinking about this guy that was on the bridge. That one guy. He's called an intern, but let me finish. He's too young being. He's too old being.
How'd you get to be a certified pilot after the accident at the academy?
Yeah.
Well, she was only held back a year. She wasn't expelled. Oh god, this is the scene that I put a Rascal's Picard face on. And pitched his voice up. No, that's all I can see here. My eyes see old Picard. My mind sees Renee. But you didn't. Wesley stood up and told the truth about what happened. He deserves to wear that uniform. What did you do?
Be more like Wesley.
How does
Be
it feel to be
annoying?
worse than Wesley, Cito?
Ugh.
No, because they know that if they become friends with you, you might kill them. On accident, sure, but no one wants to take that risk. I don't think we ever see Jean again, the other woman in the team. Maybe she quit. Or just went to another ship. It's a big universe.
Oh,
Right.
what's the purpose of Picard doing that again? Is he just trying to like
it's the
intimidate
tough
her?
love thing.
He's trying to rattle her to see if she's got what it takes for a secret covert mission.
He wants her to stand up for herself. Why not, man? Look at that window resiliency. They shot the window and it's only scorched. That's some good glass.
What I don't understand is why they're using an Enterprise shuttlecraft for this, because like if his cover story is he got captured and escaped in one of their shuttlecrafts, are you gonna believe that he escaped from the Enterprise?
Yes. The ship with famously terrible security, absolutely. I'd be more suspicious if he escaped from a starbase. So they can't tell the difference between... Hang on. So when the Cardassians examined the shuttlecraft, are we supposed to understand that it was the Enterprise firing on it? Or like people were in the shuttle bay trying to stop it from leaving like the Millennium Falcon?
It's supposed to be the Enterprise firing at it, I assume. So that means
How
that
can they
either
not tell the difference
Starship
between a hand phaser
phasers-
mark and a ship phaser?
Right. I was gonna say either Starship phasers are really weak or phaser rifles are really strong.
Supposedly, the power sources for handheld phasers do not really have an upper limit. They're only artificially limited to not literally fry the insides of the ship.
Oh my god.
Ugh, a spoon head.
Yeah.
At least he's not blue. Ugh.
It must be so handy having a spoon right there, always ready for use.
Just put your face in the bowl. Ah, delicious.
Yeah, how are you supposed to eat with that spoon? How does that work?
You just take it off and deploy
What?
it.
Detachable
Yes,
spoon?
yes.
Yeah, it's just a
Detachable
prosthetic
forehead.
anyway.
But if you take the spoon off, you're gonna have to wash it, which is fine. But I would be concerned that when you put it back on your forehead, if you don't let it sit out, you're gonna have water, even like just a little bit of water sitting between your head and the spoon, and you might grow mildew in there.
Well, the Cardassians are
Dark, cold
pretty.
place.
They're pretty fastidious, so I would imagine that that's not a problem.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I don't think that they actually explain. He lied to Alyssa about working, and then he was in 10 forward with some other woman, talking in a way that sketched the Doctor out.
Maybe it was like trying to figure out how to propose properly or something. You know?
It was probably proposal advice.
There might be a really good explanation for it. It might be totally innocent, but it sounds sketchy.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to, because they want people to think that there's something wrong.
It does show you don't have character, Zito.
We're very disappointed in you.
You and your stupid broken nose.
Why doesn't she have the earring?
She's an atheist, I guess.
Huh?
I assume that Ogawa became Dr. Ogawa in that alternate universe, because in that universe, maybe Crusher just died. Had to take over. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
but
you're chief
that
medical
means that
officer
we
now,
also-
so...
Yeah, but that means that we have to assume that in the Star Trek universe, fully qualified MDs serve as nurses.
I don't see anything unbelievable about that in Star Trek.
I mean, we could also just assume that Ogawa took a different course in her studies and actually studied to become a doctor instead of a nurse.
I think Dr. Ogawa is qualified. Nurse Ogawa is qualified. See, I'm even calling her a doctor. Not even intentionally. I have faith in Ogawa.
That's definitely a thing that people do to themselves.
Yeah, that's some good self analysis.
Also,
Introspection.
a reason why games
Introspection,
don't always
that's the
have
word.
perfect balance. People need to blame a powerful card if they lose, so it's actually psychologically advantageous for the game to be unbalanced.
The worst thing about the game StarCraft is that it's totally fair, and you have no one to blame but yourself if you lose. Oh, so Will's just a hypocrite. Okay. It's different when he does it. Is it because he has Canadian ancestry that you're so hard on him? Why do you hate Lavelle?
Maybe Riker's got a touch of that species that hates artificial politeness. So, they and Canadians don't get along. What's that species
Ah.
called?
Canadians? They're human? Generally?
Are they though?
Well, hang on. We have a Space Scotland. Is there a Space Canada? Where everybody's just really polite?
think the species
So-
you're thinking of are the Zaldans, where if you're polite to them, they get pissed off.
With the webbed fingers or webbed
Yeah.
toes. Or maybe he doesn't want you to know about the secret classified mission, Torek. Maybe you should keep your mouth shut. Wait, I missed it. Did he knock or ring the bell? Or did he
Yeah,
just
he
come
did.
in? Okay.
Ring.
But did they tell him to come in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You know, it's your time off, so come on, let's go back to work.
It's not like you're gonna get a raise.
Good point.
Some people are perfectly happy just being ensigns. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You can be whatever you want. See, be like Ben. Just talk to people.
Also, everybody knows Ben really well, but this is the first time we've ever seen him.
Yes.
And
Naturally.
the
That's how
only
television
time.
works.
He'll never show up again. Right, what is Worf wearing slippers? Are those
If
special
Picard can
martial
wear
arts slippers?
slippers, Worf can wear slippers.
He can.
I just came back to the death test, didn't I?
Yes. The physical abuse test. Blinding someone and then just
Actually-
beating them up until they tell you to stop.
What if she actually manages to do it? What if she actually blocks all of his attacks?
Then, well, I guess she doesn't even have a belt. I guess she has a white belt. I don't think that means anything, though. Maybe she gets the fancier quilted uniform. Because hers, it looks kind of rough. Worf's
It
looks
has
a
a
lot
black
better.
belt right there. It's on her head. Can't miss
It's
it.
not a... It's not a... Face belts don't count.
Why isn't his accent
Well, that would be
gold?
terrifying.
Because he's security.
Why doesn't he what?
The accents of his gi, it should be gold instead of red.
He's not on duty right now. Why does it have to be gold? It's not a uniform. It's red with the blood of his enemies.
Here we go.
There you go, Sito. You figured it out. You solved it. I feel like Worf could have just told her that Picard is kind of gaslighting her. I don't know if he needed to beat her to get the lesson across.
He has to
Nah,
realize it on her own, otherwise it doesn't count.
He's a Klingon. He likes throwing people around.
I mean, I guess he wasn't like punching her in the face. He was just kind of rolling her onto the ground.
How do you get this meeting, by the way? Like, did she just go up to the ready room and say, like, I want to talk to Captain Picard, please?
I don't think that
No,
she
I-
has to ask. She can just ring the doorbell and she's in.
I assume Captain Picard is
Or-
the kind
or
of
she might-
captain
or she
to
might have
practice
said-
an open door policy.
Yes. Picard might have said. Or she might have said.
Just had
Oh,
she had told
she might have just
all
said, like, "Hey, can we talk sometime?" And then he'd be like, "Yeah, okay, I have free time at this time." But like, it didn't necessarily
She just
happen
texted
right
him
now.
like, "Hey, you up?"
Not quite that casually, I'm sure.
Why not?
I mean, maybe.
So this is what's about to happen is absolutely emotional manipulation by the captain. I feel like these aren't good circumstances to get her to go on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Like just forcing her to work real hard to earn his favor and her place on the ship. And you know how you could do that? You could go on a suicide mission. That would really get my respect.
Having her join them in the observation lounge is also manipulation, because once she's there, she can't really back out.
Yeah, she's surrounded by everyone who's
That's
gonna...
a good point. That's a good point.
Maybe if you told her about it now, maybe if you sent her an email... Well, don't send her an email. It's supposed to be secret. But just, like, tell her what it is.
This is even more. He's laying it on because he's like, yeah. Not only did I know you were coming, I asked for you because I wanted to make sure you got a fair try.
Because I knew you were easily manipulated.
Now, please take the suicide mission so you don't let me down.
Oh, there's that guy, the guy with the blue shirt who wears all kinds of different uniforms, episode by episode. He works in every department on the ship.
He's like that guy from Lower Decks who cannot settle down with one career.
Yes. Mr. Cyborg.
Probably exactly what it's modeled on.
He's like Neelix. Except Neelix always wears the same clothes.
Neelix, the ambassador and chef and morale officer.
I feel like Neelix and Quark might know the same tailor.
I wish I could know that tailor.
Now, my concern here is that Andrew...
He might kill you.
My concern is that Andrew basically got caught cheating. He got caught with evidence. And then he was like, no, I wasn't doing it. I was looking for a ring. Will you marry me?
Marry me.
Let's not mention this ever again.
That is what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is real dumb. The Enterprise is it's a big ship technically, but it's also like really small. Like 1,000 people is not.
He can leave.
Yeah, he can.
What I'm saying is like 1,000 people
easily.
is not a lot. Somebody who knows him is going to see him in 10 forward with another woman, and they're going to get caught pretty quick. So if he was actually cheating, if he was actually cheating, that'd be really dumb.
Maybe he's just an idiot. You don't know. We never meet Andrew.
Possible.
We never meet Andrew because after this episode he dies because Ogawa kills him.
Wow. Okay.
You know, realized he was cheating, took the only way out, and stabbed him.
Then who impregnates
That's
her
how it
before
works.
the end of the series?
Then who what?
Impregnates her. She's pregnant in the finale.
I don't know. Worf?
Wait. You're talking about Ogawa?
Yeah.
It was me, Barry.
She's actually pregnant. She's pregnant before the finale. She's pregnant in the episode Genesis.
Yes.
Now that we've given you all these top secret mission details, you can't back down. Otherwise we'll have to kill you.
Guys, it was nice to pop in, but I have to pop out. It was fun. See you all. Enjoy the episodes.
Okay.
Oh, snap.
Whoa.
Is Bayshore still under occupation right now? No, it's not.
Yeah. Oh,
no,
is it not?
DS9's already started.
Okay, yeah.
DS9's in like season 3 right now.
No, it can't be that far.
It's season 2 or 3.
Is it 2? Yeah,
it's 2
somewhere
or 3.
around there. Because I think DS9 is concurrent with season 5. No, it starts in season 6 because Cisco needs his year to adjust.
Cisco probably even has a beard right now.
Madness.
Why do you look so shocked for? If that's what you were doing to her over in the exercise room.
Wasn't clock her in the face.
He wanted to. I could see it in his eyes.
But he didn't.
A nice, heartfelt goodbye. No.
A goodbye that lasts forever.
I don't know if you will see him soon. Wait, how come? Wait, look at the hydraulics lifting up the door.
Idea.
Why are the hydraulics cushioned? Why is everything cushioned on the shuttle? Everything is carpet.
Because the shuttles usually get attacked and you fly around inside them. You want it to be nice and cushioned.
Why are the hydraulics covered in carpet? They go into the ship. Why?
Camouflage?
You know, Starfleet, they're all soft.
I like that she has the crochet that everyone on Bajor wears. Kira wears a lot of crochet in her off time. Doesn't look very warm. There are even skirmishes? I thought we already had a treaty. What skirmishes? You're at peace. You guys are friends now, remember? We had the episode The Wounded where Picard was like, oh, they're our allies now, Mr. Worf. Sorry, Troy said that, actually. What skirmish are you talking about?
You keep asking. I don't think it's going to answer you.
I wanted him to answer. What skirmish?
They can't really be allies if he was a prisoner of Starfleet and took a shuttle to escape, you know?
Are they at war again? What's been happening in DS9 this season?
I don't think they're at war, but I think that they're not, like, friends. I think they just have a treaty that says we're not going to fight each other anymore.
Tracy's in the background at a table alone with a candle. She looks like she's talking to someone, but there's no one else there.
They could just be in a non-visible spectrum for humans.
I like that Lavelle is the only one who doesn't know anything.
Yeah, he's just a bridge officer.
Come on, we played poker a few times. You can tell me classified information.
Yeah, he's being such a little brat.
This is why you don't get the promotion, Lavelle. Take everything so personally.
He gets it because Cito gets killed, so
Oilers.
He gets it by default. That doesn't count.
All other candidates dropped out.
It's like Star Trek 2009, the JJ movie, where everybody gets in the position they're in because the actual officer died. Bones is chief medical officer because the actual chief medical officer died. Pike got captured, therefore Kirk is captain, more or less.
Should be
the ship
fine,
just didn't have a chief engineer, so they just found Scotty. It was like, well, you're the only engineer on the ship, so you're in charge now, I guess. That's what they're doing here with Lavelle.
The senior staff haven't prepared everyone else to take over in an emergency, then they've not done their job.
I guess they haven't done their job then. What are they going to do about it?
Don't they also have those, like, super...
If it was a Romulan border, he wouldn't have done that.
Because the Romulans are actually a real threat. The Cardassian ships are complete trash.
Yeah.
The only reason there was even a war is because the Federation couldn't be bothered to send more than one starship to the border. You gonna go recover it? We're just gonna leave it
No,
there?
that's over the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point,
never redeem yourself. It never goes well. It is deadly.
At one
Redemption
point,
equals
there's the desk,
death.
Yes, Michael?
At one point, writers were toying with the idea of bringing Sito back in Deep Space Nine.
But she died.
Yeah, they were going to say that she didn't, though.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how it would work. It's Star Trek. You know, they can do whatever they want, but they were toying with it.
It's her evil clone.
Well, I mean, the report could have been a lie. I mean,
yeah, it could have been.
Lying.
It also would have. It would have completely gutted the impact of this episode. So I'm glad they did.
It would have, absolutely, 100%.
They were supposed to make originally, what's her name? Kira's role was going to be Ro Lauren.
Oh, that Pat.
Yeah, but we can't have a Pa Wraith worshiper as a lead on a Starfleet show.
Well, she didn't come back because she didn't want to do Star Trek anymore. But...
Yeah, I know.
So that
I don't know what else she's done, but
if you look at the prop, it is very heavily bent because it's just old now.
So she decided to go and be a commander on a Battlestar instead.
Yep.
An admiral.
Before that, a medical examiner, and then later someone on 24. Yeah.
I think she also did a bunch of theater.
I liked her on Battlestar Galactica.
She was good. She's good at everything.
No, she wasn't. She was evil.
But she was good at it.
He was an excellent foil for Adama.
You know what's? If you want to have like a little fun time, watch Battlestar Galactica, like the original miniseries pilot, and then after that or before that, watch Selena. So you have Edward James Olmos
crazy
in the two different roles.
Why? Is Worf watching their game of Weird Giant Go? No, Worf, you were more than that. You also beat her up in the exercise room.
His prosthetic is like leaning to the left a little bit.
That's why they were friends. They were struggle friends.
Struggle friends? Struggle cuddles.
Struggle snuggle.
Friendly family content. Friendly family, yes.
Man.
That's how the wording goes.
Friendly family?
Just a friendly family. He got the nod. He's in.
He got the nod from Lavelle, and nobody likes Lavelle.
Stupid Lavelle.
Doesn't even count. Honestly, I would rather be Sito's friend on the risk that she might get me killed than Lavelle's friend. Lavelle's the worst.
Why do you hate Lavelle so much? Jeez.
Because it amuses me, that's why.
You rake her or something?
What?
Because it amuses me to hate him that much.
Amuses? Alright.
Yes. Blind hatred for Lavelle.
Is hilarious. He's just jealous because Lavelle got a promotion.
Over me? I'm not what? Jealous of what?
He's got his shiny new badge.
I could get a pip if I wanted.
It's not even a whole pip. It's just it's non-filled in. He's a junior lieutenant. Junior grade.
Alright, 1 minute to the next episode. Thine Own Self. Really good one. Yeah, Blind Hatred's great. People do blind hatred about the new Star Trek shows all the time. I can do blind hatred about one character in an old show.
I gave the new Star Trek shows a fair chance. I watched Picard. I watched the first 2 seasons of Discovery. I just don't like it.
Why you gotta assume everything's
so
about
much
you,
better
Robo?
than season 3.
Robo, have you seen my comment section?
Wow.
When I involve the new shows at all, there's a lot of blind hate.
No, I don't really read the comments on your videos.
Okay.
I just watch the video.
I can assure you, blind hatred for the new shows is absolutely a thing.
I mean, blind hatred for every show as it came out was a thing.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it blind though, or they just?
Yes.
No, people are. Yeah.
There are specific. Well,
Unfortunately,
I gave it.
hang on.
I
hang
gave
on.
it. I gave it a
We're
fair
about to
chance.
press play.
Okay?
Everyone, shut up. Everyone, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. I'm specific. I've seen many comments about like how I refuse to watch even one episode of Discovery because it's the worst thing. It completely spits in the eyes of Gene Roddenberry's vision. It's like you haven't even seen it.
the thing is,
Roddenberry had
like,
some
there'll be
strange
plenty of
visions too. So
Gene
yeah.
Roddenberry was a crazy person. Yes.
there'll be plenty of like proper criticism, but they get drowned out by everyone's extreme views.
How long until something's wrong with the universe?
Well, I mean, that's not this episode. So
I'm just
negative 3 years.
Last time she was in command. By the way, last time she's in command, she flew into a star.
Is this the one where the B plot is her trying to be a commander?
Yes.
Okay. Kill Geordi.
Another episode
no,
about
I don't want to.
killing
Kill
your crewmates.
Geordi. Kill
About killing your
Geordi.
co-workers.
Congratulations, you killed Geordi. You are a commander.
The test wasn't about whether she was willing to make life or death decisions. It was just about how much do you hate Geordi specifically.
Yeah, Geordi's just standing there like, what should I do? And kill Geordi.
It'd be funny if after she passes the test, Geordi asks her out on a date. She's like, "Yeah, meet me in this Jeffries tube here."
That's core overload.
She likes being in command of the ship. You can just do that. I mean, I guess she's a commander, but it feels weird that someone can just be like, hey, can I sign up for a night of bridge duty? Can I be in command of a starship for a night?
Starship.
A starship? What registry would that be? I guess everyone else is off the ship? No, wait, everyone's here except Data.
Everyone else is just asleep.
Who the heck is that guy? Where's
Night
Tracy?
shift tactical.
Is this Delta Shift? Is this Beta Shift? Who are these people?
So, Troy has like the kind of rank of lieutenant, but has she ever done anything like command experience wise to
Is she
get there?
lieutenant commander or
I
lieutenant?
think she's just lieutenant.
I thought she was lieutenant commander.
Troy? I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know.
she's
He's
Lieutenant
Commander
Commander.
right now.
YouTube video, by the way? What YouTube video? What? It's an Iceman.
Here's where he does the voice thing.
Did they try turning him off and on again?
No, they don't know where his
I don't know
switch
where his
is.
on and
yet.
off button is.
Yeah. My video. Which video? I make a lot of videos, Kargath. You're gonna have to be more specific. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't put out a video. This isn't the live stream. Oh, the stars just. Oh, I missed the stars. Oh well.
Just look up at night.
No. The stars at night move in a predictable, normal way.
Do you
The
ever look
stars
up at
here
the
are much
stars at
more
night,
distinct.
Ryan, and wonder if somebody out there just finished one of your videos and now is looking up at the same stars as you?
No.
I thought you meant like someone on another planet was just finished watching his YouTube video.
Oh. Now, see, mentioning that I'm still on the star field instead of on the blurred screen, specific comments like that are helpful. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Would you just say like the video?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Have to be specific here.
Yes, definitely, or you'll get 10 people saying, well, actually.
I have gone out to look at stars and wondered, why do they have to move so fast? Like, if you're just sitting there looking at the sky with your eyes, they look pretty static. But if you're trying to look at something in a telescope, oh my god, they move so fast.
Well, yeah, they're going pretty fast.
They're going hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, so.
Well, I was more talking about the rotation of the Earth in that context.
How many of those planets, or stars, I should say, that you're looking at are just not there anymore, and we're just seeing the light from them?
There. It's a common thing that people say, I know, but it's not. The stars are all still there that we can see.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Alright, let's wait 20,000 years, and then we'll see if you're right.
In 20,000 years, that's going to be... That's really not that long in the life of a star.
I know.
The stars that we can see in the night sky are generally within like a few hundred light years, and that is nothing to a star. The odds that it has died, and we can't even see the signs of it, are slim to none.
Can you see the signs of it by the naked eye?
Not with the naked eye, but we have telescopes and we look at them. Some of them you kinda can, because they tend to turn red. Like Beetlejuice is really red. Beetlejuice is pretty much the only one that might not be there, and we're pretty sure it's still there.
Is it going nova or something?
It's about to die, yeah. In cosmic terms, about to.
So in like 1 billion years or something?
I don't remember the timescale. I think it's on the order of hundreds of thousands, so it's pretty close.
Yeah, because it's probably not going to have lived for 1 billion years, right?
I don't know.
Big stars are usually pretty short-lived.
It's almost about to die, but like don't pop any popcorn just yet.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is 10 million years old.
Around it, looking at it.
You ever read about how there was like this ancient account, like almost prehistoric account of a supernova that like lit the night sky for 3 months?
Yes.
It was almost as bright as daylight.
Is that the Crab Nebula now?
That sounds right.
You would think you'd really pissed off your pantheon gods or whatever you worshipped at that point, when you like, oh god, what did I do?
There's some nebula, it might be the Crab Nebula, where people in prehistoric times like drew pictures of a supernova, because it's pretty obvious when one happens in the sky. It's not subtle. It happened and they drew a picture of it, and now if we look in the sky, it's like, oh wow, there's a supernova remnant that happens to be exactly that old. Wow. It might be the Crab
What does it look like?
The supernova or the remnant?
The supernova, like the drawings and stuff?
Let me look it up. It's been a while since I looked at it.
What does
supernova cave mean? Painting?
The remnant is going to be as old as the paintings plus travel time.
Yeah, add in the ping.
In the ping, yep.
Okay, basically it just looks like a sky and then one of the stars is super bright and big compared to everything else.
So why would Data know how to speak in general, but forget what radioactive means?
I don't. Because plot reasons.
Also, that looks like a Starfleet Delta. Different areas of the computer, I guess.
Yeah, he knows the definition of other words, but he doesn't know the definition of radioactive.
How did the alien... Wait, no, the alien couldn't read it.
To reinstall the dictionary.
The best trumpet scene of Riker, or trombone.
Trombone.
The best Riker trombone. Nobody cares about Nightbird. Nobody cares about the music.
Is this the musical trombone or the magical trombone?
It sounds like when a train's going by.
Is Jonathan Frakes good enough at trombone to be able to do this? I feel completely confident he's not the one actually playing the music, but is he doing this part?
I think he can play, actually.
They probably could have trained him, you know, just before he filmed it, like for half hour. Here's how you play 4 notes.
I realize that the Doctor is ahead of me in the chain of command, and I can't stand for that. I'm still thinking about the Crab Nebula. I'm becoming less certain the more I think about it that the Crab Nebula is the one I'm thinking about. Crab Nebula was discovered in 1842. There's a pulsar at the middle of it. Ah, it is. It correlates to SN 1054, which is a supernova in the year 1054. Okay, cool.
So apparently Frakes can actually play the trombone a little bit, but not like amazingly well. So they had to stand in for anybody who was not who was playing something more complex.
That's fine because Will Riker can play the trombone a little bit, but not amazingly well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Crab Nebula isn't related to the prehistoric one, but there was just another supernova. There's a lot of stars. They happen sometimes.
400 million stars in our galaxy alone.
More than that.
400 million stars? I'm pretty sure, roughly.
Billion.
It's 100 billion stars.
Yeah.
How many stars in Milky Way? Hold on.
It's 100 to 400 billion. That's
100 to 400 billion, yes, with a B. Thank you. Sorry.
It's hard to tell exactly because, you know, we're inside it.
Well, there's an easy solution for that.
Leave?
Get outside of it. Yeah.
Do you know how long that would take to get above the disk any meaningful amount?
Yeah, a long time. There was a video that had how long would it take the Enterprise D to go to the next nearest galaxy, and it was a long time. You had maximum warp.
You are an ice man.
Ice man.
Find that video. How long?
What is her accent? I don't recognize her accent. Where's she from? Who is this woman? Ronnie Edwards. All right, where are you from, Ronnie?
It's kind of odd, mostly American, but lilty occasionally. Yeah.
Ronnie Edwards, oh, she's dead. That's unfortunate. Oklahoma. She doesn't sound like she's from Oklahoma. So no. I guess her accent is something she's putting on.
Like pre-industrial. Would you say this is like mid-Renaissance type society?
I don't know enough about history to place it, but it's definitely pre-industrial for sure.
They have very sophisticated textiles because look at the upholstery on that ottoman.
Look at the upholstery on their shoulders. They're like Romulans here. What are they wearing?
He just happened to meet like the richest dude in town because that fabric must cost a lot.
Maybe not on this planet.
Well, it's labor intensive, so it's going to be oh boy, no, don't do that.
But it's so nice and shiny and warm.
It makes good jewelry. It's warming and healing and energies.
Yeah,
so
like
this parallels
if you're a little cold, just
story.
cuddle up with one of those rocks and you're fine.
Oh yeah.
This parallels a real life story about a village. I believe it was either South or Central America, where they there was an abandoned hospital nearby, and some guys went into the hospital and they recovered some radioactive material, and they were selling it and giving it away and stuff, and people were, and it would glow, so like one person painted a cross on their chest with it, and everybody got real sick. It was not good.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happened like when we were first discovering radioactive stuff ourselves.
Yeah, well, we put radium in everything. Yeah, they had radium pens, they had radium water decanters, they had all sorts of nice radioactive
I wonder
trinkets
if you can
for
still
you
buy
to.
radium pens.
Maybe. Oh my God! This foam anvil fell on my foot.
Oh
no!
Pretend like it's real heavy.
Iceman to the rescue!
Wait, he tells him to put
Wait, he
it
didn't
down.
use any ice?
I kind of wish he had put it right back down on the dude's leg.
Right where it was.
Yes.
Like, if you say so.
Okay, just drop him back on the
Why
dude.
isn't he using ice power?
Sever his leg completely.
He doesn't have ice powers. He has strength powers.
He's Iceman. Where's the ice?
He's an Iceman because he's ice cold. He doesn't feel things.
He's an Iceman because he has a pale complexion.
Yeah. So yeah, if you ever find a rock somewhere that feels kind of warm to the touch, maybe just leave it where you found it.
No, pick it up and put it in your pocket right next to all of your vital organs.
Unless it's warm to the touch because it's been sitting in the sun, that's fine.
Well, we put little high frequency microwave generators right next to our internal organs all the time.
That's a very, very different kind of radiation.
They don't shoot alpha particles into your body.
Alpha particles wouldn't even get through your skin.
Yeah. Alpha particles is a really fancy name for hydrogen.
Alpha particles is stopped by a sheet of paper or your clothing or your skin. It's the beta gamma particles.
It's absorbed by, which is different. And then over time it causes damage.
Well, it gets really bad if the alpha particles get inside of you. Like if you
can breathe them in, can't you? If it's just hydrogen.
Well,
that's helium-4, isn't it? Isn't two protons and two neutrons stuck together?
If I go on a diet of alpha particles, do I get more powerful?
Well, so if you ingest something that's emitting alpha particles are going to be doing all sorts of damage inside of you.
Alpha particle is helium, beta particles are electrons. But it's not really, I mean, the particles are bad enough, but the main issue with the radioactive material there is all the really high energy rays you're getting.
Yeah.
You don't want the radiation of any kind. Well, a little radiation.
If you did inhale an isotope of helium, I assume that you'd exhale it just like you would normal helium.
Is the stuff that makes watches glow in the dark still radioactive?
Well, there's tritium. It's radioactive, and that's radioactive helium, I believe, isn't that? But the stuff that's on that is UV reactive, I don't think so.
Wait.
The stuff that was just the UV reactive watch glow stuff.
Out the window, wasn't that just our moon? Did they not make a custom moon for this? They just used Earth's?
Well, all moons, maybe the moon looks similar, who knows?
My God, the ship's in danger while Data's on the planet. What's happening? Why is Troy in control?
He was in command once, remember? On Disaster? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they use for glowy watches, but I assume it's probably not radioactive material.
Well, like I said, if it's tritium, it's radioactive. But if it's
they probably
tritium
don't use tritium for modern watches.
little vials. No. They I'm sure they do.
I have
But
a
not the
tritium watch.
stuff.
Why do you have
Not
a tritium
the
watch?
why not? Safe.
That's what they thought.
But the UV reactive stuff. Photoluminescence. Strontium illuminate. Are most commonly used in watches. They're non-radioactive. But tritium, like the stuff that you have to shine, like charge with UV for it to glow, tritium glows all the time for about 12 years, roughly, to half brightness, I think.
Oh, if I
Riker
buy
just
a
gave
watch
her-
that like does the glowy, how long will it last?
Riker just gave her a big hint at what she was supposed to do.
First
He
duties
said
to
next time she takes a test, the problem won't be so easy. It's like, that should indicate that the technical side of this is not really what he's after.
It'd just be a harder technical problem. More obscure system. Which is part of the air.
No, part
Oh,
of the
part
sky.
of the sky, excuse me.
Yeah.
I need to brush up on my elements.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. In fact, if one of the elements is water, where's the water in my phone? I feel like it's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
sounds
water in
bad.
your phone. It's inside the battery. If you use a razor blade or something sharp, you can get it out real fast.
I don't think that's water,
don't
but
listen to
you
him.
know.
There is technically water in your phone in the form of water vapor that is in the air, like humidity
Yes, it's not
in general.
a vacuum in there, but I don't think that's what she's talking about.
No, it's not.
So he knows a little bit about elements.
I do not need faith to understand.
He doesn't know that
scientific
much about
principles.
elements. He's letting people walk around with a bunch of radioactive ones.
He knows that elements exist, but he doesn't know what specifically they are.
All that he knows is there is not fire in wood.
Fire's weird. And that's all
Is
I've
it?
got to say about that.
Okay.
No. Fire was, when I was learning the states of matter, the thing that confused me the most. Because, I mean, it's kind of a gas. It's kind of plasma-y. He's got a good point. This is why we have written contracts, Garvin. Yeah, fire's just like really highly energized stuff because they're hot. And then the electrons go to a lower energy level and they give off that energy as light. And it kind of is a gas.
So which electrons are the pointy bit in the flame that you're supposed to put everything above to make it hottest?
I don't know.
Oh.
The hot ones.
The hottest electrons go there, in the cone.
No, you don't want to lower his internal temperature, lady.
What?
Give it here. Thanks. She's like, I don't need your mansplaining.
Ice mansplaining.
Ice mansplaining? Oh no. It's gotten worse.
The marks on his face make him look like he's dying, but that's just how these people look.
It's
Is
the
it
quickening. I've
mansplaining
seen this
if the-
before.
It does look
If
like
the man is an
quickening.
android?
Yeah, Data's not a
Ah,
man.
yes.
But he's fully functional.
Ice android splaining.
He's programmed in multiple techniques.
Is that what being a man means to you? That's all it is?
Multiple
Oh,
techniques.
He can lift heavy things. He probably
Meat
opens
that can
jars
do
too.
multiple techniques.
I noticed that score here. Oh, and the kid, they're both wearing the necklaces with the fancy warm metal. They're not even a good necklace. It's just a metal fragment on a chain.
Yep. That's all he did to it.
He didn't shape it into anything.
No, he's the worst blacksmith ever. Can you imagine getting horseshoes from him? They're just like, it's just a chunk of metal. Here, stick this on the foot of your... Oh, thanks. I could have done that.
What if they made swords with radioactive material and you just keep them in a lead sheath when you're not using them? And you stab someone, and if they don't die from the blood loss, they die from the residual radioactive material.
If they don't die from the blood loss and they don't die from the horrific infections they would get because antibacterial, antimicrobial stuff hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
Antibiotics.
It's a triple action blade.
They wither away. Triple action. Why don't you just make sure you put some feces in the sheath too, so you get the extra.
Why not? Give them an infection.
Yeah.
There are so many more ways we could kill people other than relying on blood loss and trauma.
I mean, why even make it a sword? Why not just make it a bunch of little fragments and drop them over the area at high velocity?
Well, that was a thing. They would put, like, bodies and diseased cattle in catapults and just launch it. It's yours to deal with now. Feces in the catapult, it all works. Or preferably a trebuchet, the superior siege weapon.
Did you ever... Yes, I agree. I built a trebuchet in high school.
Everybody built a trebuchet in high school.
Yeah, but...
Like the most common project. Everybody has a trebuchet. Because trebuchets are awesome.
They are awesome.
Well...
I like how the woman is the only one not dying from jewelry. I like
she's basically she's had almost no exposure to it.
I know, I'm just saying, like, I would have expected, like, the original series, all the women would have, like, radioactive earrings and radioactive rings, and...
That's probably true.
No, she's just a woman of
science.
Attempted
science, alchemy.
She's doing her best.
She's like...
It's the work.
It's like she's this society's version of Madame Curie, except she doesn't die.
She's the only one not dying of radiation.
Exactly. It's like opposite world.
Anti-Curie.
Anti-Curie. That's what her cousins called her.
Her nieces and nephews call their anti-Curie.
She's completely wrong about the elements and a lot of scientific things, obviously. But I think she's still a good scientist.
She means well.
She's still a good scientist because she's willing to accept ideas. Data's like, oh, here's an instrument. It shows that you're wrong. She looks at it as like, well, yeah, I guess I was.
True.
She just has very limited information because it's like the Bronze Age.
Renaissance. A little skeptical of his ideas. Oh, she's beyond Bronze Age.
I know she's beyond Bronze Age. I don't know what age she is. It might be Renaissance. I don't know.
When did we stop doing alchemy, like officially?
Fairly recently.
When did we stop having the king's alchemists?
Well, like was it 200 years ago? I know there was some. Was it Newton?
Who was
the famous person who was also an alchemist? The famous scientist or mathematician.
Became chemistry.
Yeah, that was Newton.
What? He's a top lad, that guy.
Yeah, alchemy is not a thing. Chemistry is just, I guess it's alchemy, but it's alchemy that works. In the same sense that alternative medicine that works is just medicine.
I think it's probably like chemistry. Without alchemy, we could have never arrived at chemistry because we had to learn all of those basic things before we got to chemistry.
Yeah.
Right, like astrology would be to astronomy.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I mean, because they were pretty accurate with their star charts.
No.
Well, they just didn't understand things like retrograde motion and stuff.
Yes, they did not understand retrograde motion. But that does they didn't understand it, and yet they completely ignored it because they're like, oh, heliocentric. No. Earth's the center.
Isn't
Retrograde
astrology
motion? It's just
horoscopes and stuff?
They're just going backwards for a little bit.
For those who don't know, retrograde motion is when we're just like catching up to something in our orbit, so it looks like it's going the other way because we're going faster than it in that direction.
The planets, for a while, the planets appear to move backwards from our perspective.
If you watch Mars in the sky, it runs forward and then it jumps back and then runs forward again.
It slows down, then starts going the other way, then slows down and goes the other way again because our orbits aren't exactly the same.
And our orbit's smaller and faster.
It seems simple to us now, but who was the true big brain that realized that?
Sir Isaac Newton. He explained it when he figured out gravity. Such a genius.
As to us, it's like, well, of course wood is made up of a bunch of chemicals, but, if we were a couple hundred years ago, we'd be like, of course there's fire in wood.
So she's asking Jordy to repair an ODN conduit, which is, ODN stands for optical data network, which means it's a fiber optic line, basically. Is there only one fiber optic line going to this crucial ejection system?
Maybe they're all broken and he just needs to fix one to make it work.
Okay. Well, that seems like a bad design. It should be, if there is redundancy, they shouldn't be in the same area where they could all get severed.
They wouldn't want to be caught dead without a second backup.
It's not an engineering exam, it's a command exam.
I'm aware. I'm just criticizing the technical aspects of it.
No, that's,
we have examples of this kind of thing happening in the real world. There were jets that were designed with a third engine in the tail, where if the hydraulics were severed in that tail, there was no way to control the elevators or the vertical stabilizers. So,
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of examples of us designing ships and things like that just have no proper redundancy because it was just overlooked at the time or seen as irrelevant.
Oh, so the nose gear on Harrier jets was so notoriously faulty that on aircraft carriers that ran Harriers, they had this stool. So when a Harrier's nose gear wouldn't lower, they would just put the stool out for the pilot to land the plane on the nose of the plane.
Wow.
That doesn't look like the cloth is luminescent. It just looks like it's lit by the candle.
What did he put on it to make it luminous?
He put a candle in front of it. And there's a radioactive... Oh, yeah.
Lamp oil. He soaked the cloth in lamp oil.
Yeah, we don't know that it's necessarily paraffin, but some kind of lamp oil, yeah.
The episode's a little bit less suspenseful if you know how it ends.
He said his name. Wow, what a reference.
They're not going to kill off one of the main characters?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they are, briefly. Data's going to die here. What do you mean?
It's tough.
Though sometimes they do need to kill off a main character.
They almost killed off Captain Picard at the end of season 3.
I'm talking about Star Trek Picard, but one of my criticisms about Picard is Picard should have stayed dead.
Yeah.
Data's also potentially really changing the course of history on this planet because he's teaching her proper scientific methodology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a violation of the Prime Directive if you're not aware of the Prime Directive?
Right.
Does ignorance of the law is that a defense?
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be not ignorance of the law. It would be more like you lost your memories, so you just don't know anything about it.
That's what ignorance means.
No.
You don't know.
We have drones now. They could easily send a robot in our time, especially after Fukushima. I believe robots were used in the repair of Fukushima. I don't know what to call it, but
they used robots in Chernobyl. I mean, the remote-controlled things.
Yeah.
So remote-controlled bulldozers. Yeah.
He's a monster.
So, but anyway, I mean, I could never do that. By the way, send Jordy to his death. Just saying.
Why has he got so many LEDs? Like, what was? Why is he a Christmas tree
LEDs.
inside?
Those are like hard drive activity lights.
You know,
Oh my god.
Why is he a Christmas tree lights?
just been invented at this point.
Blue LEDs had just come out.
Yeah, like this year.
Some kind of creature.
Yeah. Blue LEDs made all sorts of stuff possible. Blue LEDs made Blu-ray possible and white LEDs possible. So like without blue LEDs, we wouldn't have like probably about a third of all the neat gadgets we have right now.
I have some Blu-ray discs, but I feel like there's no blue LEDs in the disc.
Well, right. It's not in the disc, it's in the player, because you need a blue LED to produce the blue laser light that reads the disc.
Blue LEDs also made it possible for all electronics manufacturers to put really annoying blue lights in everything.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's that. It was like with everything. It was the new cool thing. So everything had to have a blue LED.
Why not get addressable RGB? Then you can have everything.
Yeah, why didn't
Well, you
they
still
just
need blue
invent addressable RGB first?
First, you have to invent a blue LED. Well, an RGB LED is 3 separate LEDs, though. You know, so you have to have the blue to have the B in the RGB.
Oh, you start with your semantics.
No, I love how he knows the intricacies of technology.
Blue LED fanboy.
Craft carrier. But you know, I just realized it's very interesting how Einstein, to prove his theory, he suggested that you take a photo of a star from an eclipse and the gravity of the sun should bend the light coming from the star, if he was right. And the first picture they took from an observatory proved him wrong, because they were probably measuring the dots wrong. But the second time, it took
I want to clarify the wording here. It didn't prove him wrong. It just didn't prove him right.
It didn't confirm his theory, and obviously his theory is right. So I mean, the observation was wrong. So the second time they made the observation,
it did not confirm his hypothesis.
Yes.
Right. So the second time they waited 2 years for another eclipse. Another observatory took a picture, and the light bent just as at the exact magnitude that Sir Einstein said it would. So
Whoa. Did he get knighted?
No. But he's just the lord of human knowledge, because he came up with
the Lord of Science.
He came up with
we have Sir Isaac Newton.
That every single experiment we've ever done since has confirmed. So it's the most verified theory ever. And so,
I mean, gravitational lensing is how we find most exoplanets now.
Yeah.
So, a very important question since I was gone. When Data first shows up in this episode, did someone say the Iceman cometh?
No, nobody took advantage of that opportunity.
I did say it's an Iceman, but I didn't say the Iceman cometh.
Oh, sad.
You gotta have what's his name? Chomp his teeth. What's his name? I can't think of it now. The actor who played Iceman in Top Gun.
Brent Spiner.
Van Kilmer?
Yes.
Val Kilmer.
You can see on Data's makeup
Michael.
Where it bulges up to have that prosthetic bit.
Yeah, it's real bad.
I mean, I don't think it's bad.
It's a bad prosthetic overall. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
If you were to, like, stroke Data's face, would you be able to feel the LEDs under his skin?
Right. That's why I think it's bad. And you would also be able to see them.
Yeah. Data's face is always just flickering a little.
Like, if he's supposed to
made
mimic...
of future space material, though.
Yeah, I guess. But if he's supposed to mimic an actual living being, like, that part of his face should not have, like, solid metal underneath it. It should be soft tissue of some kind. He would have a skull that would shape his head in the same way that ours does, and the components inside would be completely hidden by all that.
Why is he being all sussy right now?
He doesn't have any organic components for soft tissue.
He has to be
I'm
sus
not
right
saying he
now
has to have
because if anyone
organic ones,
finds
but
him,
you
they're
gotta
going
have
to
stuff that
kill
would
him.
mimic it.
He needs to just do it. Like, he's faffing. Stop faffing. Dump it in. Go, go, go.
Data, we've seen you go a lot faster than this. Why are you lowering your hood? Dump it. Don't look all dramatic at it. No,
like
don't turn around.
Frankenstein
Just dump
moment.
it. Just dump it.
In the book Frankenstein, there's a moment where the monster learns to speak French and like just talks to the blind old man of the family, the grandfather, when everyone else is out. But when the family comes and sees him, they're in horror and they kick him out brutally.
That's quite a stab wound Data has there. Yeah, that looks a little painful. Also, that's not Brent Spiner anymore.
Is it not? Brent. I couldn't tell.
I don't think it was Brent that fell over.
The far away one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit ahead of you.
Okay.
I think I am too, actually, which is a little weird because I'm synced to the Discord timestamp.
It probably has something to do with... Well, let me check.
I synced to your countdown, not the timestamp, so I don't know what's going on.
On the countdown, my voice is a little bit delayed because it has the noise filter in. It has to stop and process and then show it.
Riker with hat.
I was out of sync.
I think we've seen Beverly's costume before, or we see it again later. That looks familiar. Not Riker's. Riker's is new.
So I like how this episode mixed the 4 elements, which is the old Greek medicine, because they used to give you like the 4 elements were also based on 4 blood, bile, black bile, and phlegm. And
those
so
are
you
the
had
humors, not the elements.
Humans, right? But they were connected to the 4 elements, though. So if you had too much of one, you needed more of the other. And so, and that was the basis of Greek medicine, which spread through much of the ancient world. I'm from India, so we had that too.
And it was all bollocks.
I mean,
relied on it
some
for
of it,
2,000 years.
The 4 humors were, of course, absolute nonsense, but Greek medicine was more advanced than just that. There were people performing surgeries and shit in ancient Greece. It was kind of impressive.
This man is ill. Let's drain his blood.
Yeah, but they would give you herbs based on if you had too much black bile versus yellow bile.
Yeah, but they didn't actually know how much bile you had. We're just guessing.
found skeletons. They found skeletons that had like broken bones that had been mended with metal and that had healed completely. Like, so the person had not died from that wound. You know, they had lived a long time after that. The bone had been mended with metal.
Yeah, the Greeks were actually pretty impressive. We lost a lot of stuff from when they collapsed.
Yeah, the Byzantines.
When the Library of Alexandria was burned, and all that scientific knowledge was lost, had to be rediscovered.
It's not. That wasn't as catastrophic as it's sometimes said, as I recall. Like, it wasn't the only place where some of that knowledge was.
Yeah, but Alexandria was like hundreds of years old, so they actually had a lot of knowledge. I wouldn't underestimate it either. Like, a library in the ancient world was kind of a big deal.
We had a whole dark age just because people lost information.
Yeah.
Just hundreds of years of basically no progress.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also just not the only time it's happened. Yeah.
What period is the Dark Ages regarded as?
It's hard, but 1100
I want to say early 1000s, but I don't know.
Same year.
Because I know like the 1300s was like, they were starting to build castles and stuff, and it was a good time for that. Like, engineering progressed pretty fast.
Sure, with the cathedrals.
The Dark Ages is a term for the early Middle Ages or Middle Ages in the area of the Roman Empire in Europe after its fall in the 5th century, characterizing it as marked by economic, intellectual, and cultural decline.
No,
not cultural decline.
East, though.
But there was also an ancient Dark Age where we're pretty sure that all across the Mediterranean there were random sea peoples attacking every civilization, and you basically had every empire collapse or suffer a deep decline, and we don't have any records from that time either. So this stuff happens.
And yeah, that was the first and only time we see Picard in this episode because he was asleep. It was the night shift.
Oh, I was gonna say the other scientific thing that they merged into this episode was Marie Curie. If you don't know about the effects of radiation, you can die. So, you know,
Fun fact, you can also die from radiation if you do know about its effects.
Yeah, I mean, look up the.
I wouldn't advise like going outside with lead in your pants though, because we don't tend to bump into radioactive material too much.
No, that's what sunscreen is for, because there's a giant nuclear fusion reactor in the sky.
Sun?
Yeah.
You imagine that you and your husband win the Nobel Prize for the scientific discovery, and then you die of the thing that you discovered.
Yep. All right, 1 minute countdown to the next episode and final episode for today. Let me change the title, in fact. Masks, which is the one I've been looking forward to.
Oh boy, Masks.
Masks
Masaka.
is great.
I always thought it was kind of creepy. I
know.
always thought it was kind of creepy that Data was in a class with kids doing pottery.
Why is that creepy?
It was just kind of weird.
You're weird. Don't judge Data. He can do what he wants.
There's nothing wrong with pottery.
I really want to take a sewing class, but all the sewing classes in this area are children's classes, and I think I might have to take a children's class for sewing. Nobody teaches adults. So I might be in Data's situation.
So you're agreeing with me that it's weird?
No, I'm saying maybe I'll just end up doing that, because, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But for now, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Why not just, like, learn online like everybody else?
Don't do sewing, do the Chads one. That's just weaving.
No, I need sewing. I have a sewing machine.
What do you want to sew? Are you going to make your own uniform? Are you going to make...
Well, maybe, but
Are you going to make an Enterprise era uniform for your dog?
I just want to make a shirt. I just want a plain brown shirt. That's all.
That's nice.
Is that too much to ask?
It's
or,
weird.
You know what I really want? I want a jacket that doesn't have branding on it. I cannot find a single jacket that doesn't have branding on it.
I can agree with that. I want a non-branded everything.
I found a non-branded shirt. I don't have non-branded pants because all pants are branded on the back.
I thought about starting a company that just makes things with no branding on them. Just
how do you
all sorts of
advertise that
stuff.
then?
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
You can have branding on the inside of the shirt.
Internal branding.
You know
It
what
just
doesn't
rubs up
have
against
branding? Really expensive luxury items because they don't need branding.
The closest I was able to find was a jacket that its only branding is a little star on the sleeve. And that's close enough, I guess.
If Data is allowed to play with the clay and what the other kids are doing, then like so Ryan's should be allowed to take a sewing class with children.
Yeah. So except we live in a society where he would be looked at strangely for doing that.
I don't care. I get to learn sewing. Screw it. People are going to judge me for trying to learn a skill. Screw them. I'll learn skill
Partner
anyway.
up with your neighbor.
I don't think my neighbor's so.
No, I mean your neighbor in the class.
Oh, okay. Little Billy, little Timmy.
Sure. You have to work together to make a shirt. His shirt is kid size, your half is adult sized.
Do I have to pay extra because I'm making stuff that's physically larger?
You have to use more material, maybe.
Or do I have to bring my own
material? Are they furnishing the material?
Isn't that the comet from the Voyager episode with the Q?
Maybe. I really like that comet. It doesn't really fit the general special effects of the show. Also, there's Tracy in the background. But no, it looks a lot different than the usual effects. I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
True.
It looks more high res.
Amazon trivia says that the comet was designed by the same studio that did the title credits of Deep Space Nine. Santa Barbara Studios.
Was it the comet from the beginning of Deep Space Nine?
It's not the same, but it was the same
It's
studio.
not the same, it's just, yes, made by the same people. Frankly, I don't think it looks anything like the DS9 one. The DS9 one was lumpy and pure ice.
Lumpy.
So this ship that they encounter, did they think or they determine it was basically a big library or like a big hard drive? I don't remember which one.
Probably. It's another probe that just preserves the civilization. At least this time it's not making Data live out a whole nother life in a hallucination.
It'll make you obsessed with the flute.
You know, I really like how the evolution of the English language, where we can now say a whole nother, which doesn't make grammatical sense, but you know what I mean. What's another?
It's a word.
Another is one word, but what is a space nother?
It's one singular another?
It's a styrofoam sculpture that the art department whipped up in 30 minutes.
Yes. It even has 4 nothers.
4 nothers?
Yeah.
So why would your probe that's attempting to preserve your civilization forcefully transform other ships into your civilization? That's like the number one way to get your probe destroyed.
Self-propagating civilization. They're kind of like
the next people are just going to figure out what happened and destroy it.
Yeah, whatever, maybe.
Remember that planet that they went to an Enterprise that had a virus that was converting...
Stars, continue.
Remember the planet they went to on Enterprise where there was a virus converting them into the species from that planet?
Yes.
And they were instinctually driven to go to that city, and then they found the city, and it was like abandoned for hundreds of thousands of years.
Urquhart was a good episode.
T'Pol was only partially converted.
Yeah, because she's T'Pol.
Yeah.
She was too busy. Was she doing the what's that called? The stuff they used to not get the.
I guess the decontamination gel scene didn't do the trick for that virus, huh?
Trillium D, that's it, isn't it? Was she shooting up Trillium D by that point?
No, she wasn't shooting up.
No, that was later. Yeah. That's a very interesting plot line, though.
T'Pol had a drug addiction plot line, and she had an AIDS plot line.
Yep.
T'Pol was the social issue commentary character.
You said she had an AIDS plotline?
Yeah, she had an AIDS plotline.
Yeah, she had from that disorder that she got from the forced mind meld.
Is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yep. You'll notice the original series font
they were
on the
described
walls
as deviants. Here. Anyone who had it must have been part of the deviant group, and they're shunned. It was a whole thing.
In the nursery and the schoolroom, they use the original series title font for the letters.
The Mask of Masaka.
Masaka? Corgano?
Anybody just go in your quarters and leave stuff there? Like, what's the deal? I thought.
Yeah, remember on DS9 when Jadzia would just mess with Odo's furniture? She can just go in.
She's command crew, so she'd have an override, right?
So
I like how they have the graduated cylinders.
Data's
just
command
sitting
crew.
there. Yeah, I guess, but I don't think he would do that.
In fact, he doesn't even have to have the. He can imitate her.
Someone just reprograms a bunch of icons to float around on your displays.
Why?
Joe Minosky wrote this episode. Robert Weimar.
It's like those old pop-up ads that you could never get rid of.
Is this computer virus basically just ancient civilization bonsai buddy?
Glyphs. Mayan glyphs.
Bonsai Buddy. So apparently, when Next Generation was on the air, they had a program where you could, not like a computer program, but like they had a program that people, amateurs, could submit scripts to the show. And that's actually where Yesterday's Enterprise came from. It was a submitted script. And they said that they would take up to 2 scripts. So you could submit a bunch, but they could take up to 2 before you'd have to get an agent and become, part of the Writers Guild or whatever. But
yeah, they had an open script policy at the beginning of the show.
There was a list of all the episodes that were taken. I can't remember, but I remember Yesterday's Enterprise. And then they stopped doing it because I guess it was too problematic. They said it did give some people their start, but also a lot of people sued them for plagiarism because they said, like, oh, I sent a script in and you used part of that idea in this episode. And so more trouble than it was worth, right?
I mean, I think that's how Ira Bear got his start too.
So, okay, unrelated note. Data here is Lieutenant Commander. If he wants to become full commander, does he have to take the test, or he's already command division, so he just has to wait to get promoted?
Well, he's got a gold uniform, right? So he's not.
He puts on a command uniform later.
Operations.
Well, maybe earlier.
He put it in an episode where he was second officer to
Jellicoe
Riker.
gives him a red uniform.
I think TNG left it open-ended if Data could ever get a promotion, actually. Like, Starfleet wasn't, the whole android captain became a thing when he commanded the Sutherland.
He was still in a gold uniform then.
He was in a gold uniform when he died.
87 million years old. How is it older than the comet? 87 million years old isn't that old.
The comet formed around the structure.
That doesn't make sense, Picard. I mean, it does make sense. Just the term frozen gases is somewhat self-contradictory.
Yeah. I think it's called sublimation when...
It's called ice.
Sublimation is when ice goes directly to a gas.
Yeah, so it's a certain
or solid
state.
to a gas in general, not just ice. Yes.
Well, ice meaning solid forms of things that are liquid at standard temperature pressure. Not specifically water ice.
Right.
But also it can happen to water ice and your freezer.
Other ices are available.
You can, if you have ever put a tray, if you ever had a tray of ice in your freezer that you haven't touched for a long time, where it slowly diminishes to nothing, that's sublimation.
How come everything in space in Star Trek is always rotating along the long axis? Why does nothing just sit there?
It's thrown by the same curveball.
Or is the Enterprise doing donuts around it? Why is it spinning?
Hold on a second. You're saying it's rotating around its longest axis? Because that's the most stable axis.
But my question is more about the rotating part than the axis part. Why is it spinning? Why is the rate of spin changing depending on which shot we're on?
Yeah. I mean, most things have some angular momentum, right?
So, actually, I was going to bring up Freud. But,
Detroit.
This whole episode kind of just goes on Jungian archetypes. There are hidden symbols in our mind just from the culture and the background we come from, and we all play into them somewhat. And we recognize them as archetypes and heroes in the stories that we tell. So it's good stuff.
I've asked this before, but I want to ask it again because... Wait, did I just mute myself? No, okay. I want to ask it again. Why do ancient precursor races build everything out of stone?
Yeah.
Because writing and things into stone is probably what would last the longest.
Well, I mean, if we all died out right now, We wouldn't have these ancient stone structures just laying around in the future for people to find. We don't make things out of stone in the first place.
We associate ancient things with stone because
we have concrete, which is
because it's a trash material to build with. That's why.
I mean, it makes sense that people do that. That writers do that, but doesn't make sense in universe. Yeah, that it's always stone.
I think like that's the future, and
stone just it's not true of
in our mind.
The
It looks like an orange wedge.
Kinda. Is that Gargano? Is that the sunrise? Was that the horizon?
I think that's Gargano, yeah. Or
I still don't know what Gargano is. I understand that Gargano and Masaka are basically metaphors for
the sun and
both
moon.
the sun and moon, as well as life and death. Or death and rebirth.
That little the one on the back might be the old guy that's kind of like the mischievous one. I forget what he's called.
The guy who
there's an old guy and a mischief.
Brent Spiner's old man voice?
I remember what I was going to say about Freud. He used the word sublimation in a psychological sense. It's when you take your neuroses and you just sublimate them into something better.
And they turn into a gas?
They turn into productive work or something. I don't know. Like a former addict turning into someone who rehabilitates other former criminals, let's say, or whatnot.
But like, okay, here's my point about stone. I'm still on the stone. If we have lots of stone stuff from the past because people were making things out of stone, but we don't make things out of stone anymore, really. We don't.
But what would relate to the future?
When there's a disaster in the future, this will be referred to as the Dark Age because there'll be no evidence that it happened.
Well, no, there'll be things. There'll be a lot of things that will survive.
Oh, Jesus, it's happening.
Masaka is awaking.
Masaka is awaking.
I think writing things in stone is going to last longer than a USB drive, though, so that's probably why.
In Halo.
Well, they're going to find...
In Halo 2 specifically. Shut up. You go to the Ring Delta Halo, and there's a bunch of stone structures there. Why would these ancient civilizations who are making ring worlds build a structure out of stone? The whole place is artificial. Why that?
Could have had some sort of cultural significance.
True. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. For this episode, it's wholly inappropriate.
Like, I get why they would still have stone artifacts from old times when people were making things out of stone. But why are they still making things out of stone when they're an advanced society?
Why do we still build buildings out of stone, ostensibly?
Actually, Ryan, that's colored polystyrene, okay? It's very sophisticated.
Why are ancient civilizations making things out of colored polystyrene?
It's efficient. It's lightweight.
Masaka City?
Cheap.
Yeah, Masaka's city. Like, it's hard.
Like, do we have an Obama city? What's happening here? Why is it named Osaka?
No, it's Misaka's city, not Misaka City.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Ryan. But what's interesting is like the earliest Egyptian writing was hieroglyphics, but then the Phoenicians came out with the alphabet, and we found that to be more useful. But with emojis, we're kind of going back to hieroglyphics a little bit, and so it kind of shows like pictorial representation. So you could have an advanced society that actually likes dumb pictures. No offense to everyone who uses
emojis. Like ours, we just communicate in memes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I made a meme channel for the Discord, because the general channel would be so clogged up if that wasn't there to filter it.
Yeah.
They obviously don't have memes like in Star Trek because they would have figured out the Darmok and Jalad thing in 2 seconds if they had memes.
Why is Troy Masaka? Yeah. Is Troy Masaka just because she's the first woman that he ran into, or does she actually look like Masaka? Oh. Personality number 2. Don't make it weird, Data.
Is this Corgano?
I am programmed in several...
Or the old guy?
Things.
I don't think that's Corgano. I don't think we actually meet Corgano.
I like this episode. I don't remember it, but I like it.
How am I supposed to read that, Jordy? What is happening here?
Nanobots?
Quantum something something.
The Y factor? Something on that screen said the Y factor for some reason. Wonder what that list was taken from.
They have a replicator for people?
There's really
now, if we
nothing
want to
stopping
take this full
Starfleet from
circle
just...
with the inner light, we need the writer of this episode to make a little supplementary piece where they actually go and meet Masaka somewhere.
Yeah.
Go find the real Masaka.
They should make a cartoon of it. Comic book.
Why'd you look into it, Data?
I think Brent Spiner just gets to act, so he's having fun. Yeah, but when he goes,
we revoke Data's command codes, right?
You know he's a different person because the little badge changed.
Okay, so it was totally just because she was the first woman that he ran into.
And Lore's dead too, so he has to be a bad guy. A little bit.
Masaka a cat? She sounds like a cat.
Is she the sun or the moon? Is she the sun?
I think she's the sun.
It's like burning stuff. That's why she's dangerous.
She's the sun. Yes. Corgano is the moon.
Is this what we call standing Masaka? Is that the proper terminology?
What does stand mean? I haven't learned that one. Like it means standing up for something, right?
I think it just means fan, but it's differently spelled.
Okay.
What if one of the personalities he manifests is a Masaka simp?
A Masaka? What?
Masaka simp.
Oh. No, we already had that. That was only Masaka can hurt me. That was that guy. Oh, we also get a nice little sound effect when he transitions.
Yeah, it sounded like a turbo lift.
If Masaka is awake and she's the sun, why did the lights go down?
Because before the light, there is darkness.
Oh, very dimly lit here. How come the red alert lights work and everything has power except the overhead lights? Why do the doors still work?
Why don't they just
there's emergency lighting and there's regular lighting?
Yeah, but this thing...
Look, the warp core's still on.
It was like rearranging the inside.
You can't turn it off. It's an antimatter reaction, right?
You can turn it off. You just stop shoving antimatter into it. It's real easy.
I like the dry
all the time.
Super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think it might be a little inconvenient to turn the warp core off and turn it back on.
Man, I haven't seen this episode in years. I'm only vaguely remembering most of this. Okay, the sun is a symbol of death, not rebirth. So Corgano's rebirth?
I mean, it kind of goes up and down every day, so it's like reborn. Like Osiris, that was part of the Osiris myth. It goes to the underworld.
Who is the dude that was dragging the sun across the sky in a chariot?
Apollo?
Isaiah?
Apollo?
Elijah?
It was Greek.
That was Apollo, sorry. I mean, he's the sun god.
Roman.
So.
I don't know.
Helios, if you're Roman.
If I'm Roman, Romans kicking about.
There's still Romans around. They're just lame now.
Yes, I am Roman.
I mean, we're talking about Greek gods.
I am actual descendant of ancient Rome Roman.
That doesn't make you Roman. Everyone's a. Are you from Rome?
I'm also a descendant of the original human, which makes me the best.
Right. No, but I have actual like ancient Roman DNA.
Okay, and I'm a descendant of sub-Saharan Africans. That doesn't make me African.
Well, I'm also Italian, so
surely practically everyone has ancient Roman DNA. I mean,
I don't think everybody does.
Only like
I'm sure there's a lot
of the population.
Most of the world is a descendant of Genghis Khan. We're not Mongolian.
No.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, how far back are you tracing this ancestry? Because at some point, it doesn't count anymore.
Oh, wow, it just became snakes on a plane.
I mean, how far back?
Like, are you talking about your most recent Roman ancestor was 400 years ago?
This thing can create life on a starship too?
Oh, yeah. It's creating people and snakes. And literally snakes on a plane.
And fire?
Yeah. That's like branches coming out of the engineering display.
It generates fire.
Yeah, but I love how it's the plane.
So they're not like shooting that emitter. They're not trying to leave. They're just chilling.
So the transporters still work, but the overhead lights don't. Why does everyone always cut off the overhead lights?
Someone hit the circuit breaker, okay?
Why? Is this part of Masaka's plan?
They lost the remote to the LED things.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Wi-Fi down and they control their lights strictly through Wi-Fi? What biological matter? Did they disintegrate a crewman, or are we talking about, like, the Arboretum?
The chairs supports are plastic now. They're a little more leather before.
Is the archive just trolling people? What's it for? Couldn't they just send out a book? Like Masaka.
We must access her. Okay.
You know, Masaka's not a real person, man. Masaka's symbolic. Where are you gonna find Masaka? Oh, this is the old man. The old dying existential crisis man. That's a good old man voice, Brent. Oh good, I'm glad you specifies you're an old man. We couldn't tell.
It sounds like he's trying to do Marlon Brando from Godfather.
Yeah.
You don't even call me Masaka.
Sorry.
Hit flutes intensify.
Is that warm enough for an old man now? So if Masaka is the son, who is the son's father?
The super sons.
Stellar Nursery. Big Bang.
This ancient advanced civilization still uses the mythology of the sun being a sentient being.
Yeah.
Are we sure that an ancient spacefaring civilization would still have these creation myths as their actual ideology?
That or it's just, oh, I just happen to be sending this one old story over. And the computer gets a little creative.
Little overzealous.
Yeah, like when the
with it.
aliens put our golden disc
Yeah.
into the DVD drive, they're going to be on a wild ride.
I mean, if you worship the sun, you could actually achieve space flight faster if you were trying to fly to the sun. And
Yeah, and then the sun punishes you for your hubris by just incinerating you.
Right.
But I feel like, I mean, I assume in actuality this is just a cultural database, not a scientific database.
Yeah.
But the impression I'm getting is that this is actually how they think the world was formed, because someone chopped up the bones of the sun's father and built their planet with it. And they've got to know that's not how planet formation works.
I mean, it's not so far off. I mean, it's all the same.
That's pretty far off.
It's the same,
They're also into palm reading, apparently.
It's interesting how data is the repository of the mythology.
You could get a blanket. Man, what if Brent Spiner did this voice for Dr. Noonien Soong? The other old man voice.
I get the impression that there's some post-processing of his voice in these scenes.
No. He was able to do, like, when he was kneeling before Deanna, and he was like, "I'm yours," he did the deep throaty thing also.
Yeah, I still think that sounds like post-processing.
That doesn't sound like it to me. I think that's just him.
Well, specifically the "I am yours" line definitely sounds like it.
Yeah, they could have touched the pitch, maybe. Yeah.
What is that on his face? What's that made of?
That's like the gel. No.
Are those Tic Tacs painted flesh colored on the sides?
I think it's like the frosting that you put on a cake, basically. But it's not melting.
What do you mean? Captain Picard's right there. He'll hang out with you.
It could be a silicone ring painted onto him.
Did these people die from a supernova and that's how Masaka got rid of them? How does the sun send people away? Are they scared of light?
Oh,
Maybe...
one ancient form of execution used to be just
get on a rocket with Elon Musk.
I was thinking maybe these people are actually the Remans, and they live on the night side of their planet. They fear the sun.
I don't think that's how that works.
Wow.
I like the new chairs on the bridge. I think they should keep those.
They look like a little uncomfortable.
Well, you're not supposed to be comfortable on duty. And being comfortable on duty just leads to complacency. You should be a little uncomfortable all the time.
Did they miss the forehead thing in the overhead shot? Maybe that's because the guy was dead. so it didn't exist anymore.
Did they draw that on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. Like all those lines?
The unending horizon and the curve and the line for the rising sun and yada yada.
Okay.
Ehud doesn't have a life. He doesn't really exist, Picard. What are you talking about? I don't think you should engage with this mythology so literally, man. It's some weird program running in Data's brain. Oh, there's an outtake here. Where Picard delivers that line where he's talking to Riker, but he forgets to hit his comm badge. And then a few seconds later, he realizes, no, wait. Everyone, has a good laugh about it.
Wow.
Where's the light coming from? They're in space. Are those...
Very carefully.
It can read photons.
That's where all the lights went from 10 forward. They were just holding on to them.
Sorry, so
if someone was in the adjacent room, because they were in a corridor, if someone was in the room, are they just dead?
They evacuated the deck, I think, didn't they?
Maybe.
I
think so.
So this takes up like 2 decks.
Yeah. I was going to say it's like one of those episodes which are kind of terrible, but like the set design is pretty stunning actually right now.
I have a lot of questions about the logistics of what's happening on the ship.
Like even the bridge chairs, it's like a very cubist Picasso kind of bridge reimagining. They did a really good job. Whoever came up with that, it's very artistic.
Yeah. Looks good. It looks good, but I still have the question of what happens to all the power lines that suddenly get cut off when they transition to part of the ship.
No, and also what kind of ancient advanced civilization sits on stone furniture? They didn't invent cushions?
Antlers of some kind. The smaller symbol of the moon.
Chase her.
Is this a vacation for Picard because he loves archaeology so much?
Yeah, for sure. He was nerding out in his ready room when Riker came in.
Maybe Masaka is like an ancient Egyptian pharaoh where they thought they were actually gods.
Yeah, and it was the sun god that the pharaoh was like a descendant of or whatever. Amon-Ra.
Masaka is waking.
You
Masaka is here.
Into a room, and that's like causes the adjustable flame.
Take your mask, Masaka. I don't know how that's supposed to stay on your face unless you're just really sweaty. But
it's got a ribbon.
Does it have a ribbon? Oh, it does. That's nice.
I think Picasso also had a period where he went through African masks.
Jesus, Teddy, you're gonna break their noses. Be careful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called... It's not an animal. There you go. Thank you, Picard. Which isn't exactly how... Well, maybe it's how it works on their planet. But yeah, the sun and the moon can definitely be in the sky together on Earth. That's a thing. Happens all the time. I'm not sure why the moon is associated as a nighttime thing. Because it's in the sky during the day a lot.
We can't see
it's
it.
Not as prominent though as the sun is during the day, is it?
Yeah, it's harder to see. You did it. You found Masaka.
Sorry, I was not expecting Data sitting up there with the mask.
How are you even supposed to sit back in that chair? If you try to sit back on it, your legs are just going to be straight forward because of the knee position.
Oh, it's a she, huh?
Yeah?
Yeah, like this whole episode, everyone's been referring to Misaka as she.
But is that why she's so crabby?
That's sexist.
I'm just saying he was being crabby, the actor.
I think she's crabby because she's a god, and everyone else is beneath her.
Okay, let me mute myself.
What if we shoot her? Like with a gun?
I like how Troy was like, hey, this could be really dangerous. And Picard's like, well, if you got a better idea.
Why don't you go do it, Troy? If you're so brave.
Yeah, what's your idea, Troy, huh? I don't hear you piping up any brilliant concepts.
Does that even fit Picard's face? It doesn't look like it would fit.
Well, he does wear it later.
We know everything about this culture. They're obsessed with sun-moon representation. All you have to do is just say vaguely sky-related things and you win.
Yeah, and there's a kangaroo chasing the sun.
A few hours before, nothing is left, and the bridge is practically untouched.
Yeah. How have there not been hull breaches? Is it not affecting the outer hull of the ship? Does that not get converted?
I guess not. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
All right, who's a better actor? Brent Spiner or Patrick Stewart? We're about to find out.
The whole show's based on these two. But, man, they put a lot of money into this set.
Oh, God, you look so...
God, this is a weird episode.
What are you wearing, Patrick? You look like you're going to a masquerade party and you pick something up from the dollar store.
Yeah.
Very true. That reminds me of Peacemaker, actually. Big old metal mask.
I guess if you don't want to share the sky with him, you could blow up the moon. It takes some work, but you could probably do it. This culture could have.
I mean... See, if I saw this screenshot and I hadn't seen this episode, I would assume it's photoshopped. Like, 100%. Too weird.
Season 1, Patrick Stewart would never have done this. Very serious and stuffy. We are not here to have fun.
So, their whole mythology is just putting the sun to bed?
Yeah. Their whole mythology is Bear in the Big Blue House where you have to say goodbye to the moon. Oh, that was easy. We did it. What I still don't know what this program was supposed to do. It just forces someone to play out a little script.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
But you see now, they kind of understand the culture. Mission accomplished.
It's what your Dungeons and Dragon games are like.
Also, they were on the upper level there, But
this is like a side quest gone wrong. Is that what
when they were in the corridor before when it was converted, they were on the lower level. So I guess it's just really lucky they didn't just phase inside a deck.
Exactly one deck low. Lucky.
I would have liked it if Patrick Stewart or Captain Picard was like 2 feet off the ground when it phased out and he fell. We have to have lost like half the crew to this. There's no way everyone made it out alive.
Sculptures. There's acceptable losses here.
Too. Like he said, if you're gonna have to take my place on the altar.
So these people, is it that their planet died and they uploaded their brains to a computer? Is that what happened?
And then you have to play a random one of their stories out of 3,000 stories of gods and goddesses.
Honestly, I have no idea what happened in this episode.
Not a clue.
The space library converted part of the ship into.
Yeah, I get that. Is the space library, like, are there people in their AI now? Are they constructs? Was it just a play?
It's unclear if there is an AI at all. Oh, you mean the people that are in Data?
Yeah, is that an entire civilization that uploaded their consciousness?
I think it was just, a handful of personalities, but they said there was more, right? They
said there were thousands.
Okay, so they just didn't manifest themselves.
A VR program for their mythology. Like, do you want to play Adam and Eve and Samson and Delilah? Brian, I wanted to say two things. Last week's Sub Rosa episode was really great, right? Because we kind of make fun of the episode the first time we watched it, but the second time we actually got to appreciate all the great things about the episode,
as well as make fun of it a lot.
And it truly was a great episode, actually. Now that I think about it, it's actually something that you would take with you on a desert island. I know about watching it twice. But I wanted to remind you of another idea, though, that we had. Sorry, Jerry, what did you say?
Nothing.
So you said that because the first 2.5 seasons of your TNG podcast, you didn't have anyone watching with you, we could start from the beginning and do those episodes again. So for your consideration, I just want to submit that idea because I think we'd all love to watch along.
I have considered that, but if we do that, it's not going to be until we finish all the other Star Trek.
Okay.
Because we're going to keep cycling through all the shows here.
Thank you, Chad.
So that leads us to the big question: which one is next?
Next week TNG is Eye of the Beholder, which is the It's All a Dream episode, and there's a suicide. And then Genesis, which is the one where everyone de-evolves, because that's how evolution works.
Oh boy.
Like Troy is a fish lady, Barkley is a spider, Riker's a caveman. It's that one.
Riker's a frat boy.
There's one scene in Genesis that freaks me out. When Worf de-evolves and he spits acid into Dr. Crusher's face, she gives out a genuinely horrifying scream of pain. It's awful.
If by awful you mean awesome acting by...
Yes. Awful to watch. Excellent acting by
Cheryl Gates McFadden.
And then the last episode next week of TNG is Journey's End, which is I'm going to do a lot of defending of Nechayev next week, I think. But it's the episode where they try to relocate the Native Americans, and then Wesley turns into a space energy being.
Oh God.
What? I don't remember that.
Well, he does. Don't worry about it. He goes with the traveler.
Oh, yeah. And then comes back so he can join Starfleet and, explore the galaxy?
Yeah. But what's tomorrow for DS9? Tomorrow for DS9 is Covenant, where Dukat has a cult. It's Only a Paper Moon, where Nog is back from losing his leg, and we spend the time with Vic Fontaine. And Prodigal Daughter, where Esri goes home to her crazy family. That should be good.
Yeah. I think what Argos was asking was, what series are we going to watch next? And I'm assuming it's going to be Voyager and Enterprise.
Definitely Voyager, and I'm undecided between TOS and Enterprise. Voyager's one.
TOS would be interesting.
Maybe I'll just roll.
I've never actually fully watched TOS before because it's all very cringe.
It's got issues. I really like.
There are a lot of cringy episodes.
Everyone looks like sweaty
also
all the time, and
yeah, it's actually kind of good in some ways too. Though it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's like to see it.
But you have to realize how progressive it was for 1968.
Oh, I'm not talking about like the social stuff. I'm talking about like the sets and like the storylines, and that's just.
For some reason, all the male actors in TOS look the same to me. They all have the exact same facial structure. They all have the same jawline. All the guest stars, I should say. Like, Bones does not look like Spock. They all look like the original Captain Pike. Do you remember him?
Wheelchair Man?
Before the wheelchair. They don't all have melted faces. But that's it for today. We're done here. Be gone.
Bye.
Oh, hello, a bye stream.
Well, fine. No cats tonight then.